Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. It's been a couple of weeks since I've uploaded a video because a few things, well, unexpected things have happened, and we have now got another animal in our household. You all know, most of you know Margot, my Persian cat that I got earlier this year. So we ended up getting another dog. Now I am going to be doing my everyday makeup in this video, and I'm going to feature Chanel Le Beiges because they have just released, I think it's their Winter Glow, and I think we may be getting that sometime in January, but I thought I'd do a full face of Le Beiges. For those of you that can't get hold of that collection yet, you might get inspired from some other Chanel Le Beiges products that you have in your collection. So I'm going to chat about the new member of our family while I'm doing my everyday makeup. Now I also finally managed to get my Christmas decorations up as well, so I'll show you a little bit of that. I'll show you the tree once it's finished and those behind me in a little bit more detail as well. It doesn't really show me putting them on the tree, but it just shows the decorations all out before I pop them on, so I'll show you a little bit of that as well. Now for our newest member of our family, I'll try and get a little bit of footage of him so you can have a look at that as well. I will put up a couple of pictures while I'm talking about him as well. So at the moment he is quietly sleeping out in the kitchen area, so I'm going to stop this part of the video and go into my beauty room and let's put on a full face of makeup. So I've done all my skincare for the morning and the last step is sunscreen. I did that a couple of hours ago now, so about 10 minutes ago I put on my favourite sunscreen again because it is lovely and moisturising. It is summer here now in New Zealand, so the weather is definitely getting a lot warmer. So for the primer today, I'm going to use the one that wasn't released in the US, but maybe next year it might be. And it is the Beiges, the Healthy Glow Cream. This is an absolutely beautiful primer. I wouldn't really say it is for making your skin look any more glowy than normal, but as a primer it is just gorgeous, and you can see there's quite a dip in there. I have used quite a lot, so I either put it on using quite a dense soft brush or I just use my fingers. So today I think I'll just put it on using my fingers. Now, I do use this a lot, but not in my videos so much because I know that those of you in the US, you can't get hold of this primer yet, but hopefully they may release it in the US next year. Now, with the foundation that I'm going to use, this primer works really beautifully, and also the other favourite Chanel primer of mine, and that is the Base, the mattifying one. Both of these are just really beautiful and either work really just as well. With this primer though, it tends to give, I'm only putting on a tiny amount at a time, it just tends to give just that little bit more of a blurring effect, and not just on my pores either, it also helps with some of the fine lines as well. Now I haven't tried this under my eyes, or maybe I have, or it's been such a long time I can't remember what it's like. I'm not going to do that today in case it turns out to be a disaster. But if you have this, or if it is released next year in the US, then it would definitely be worth giving a go and trying it underneath your eyes. But it is such a beautiful primer, and as I was saying, I do hope it is released in the US next year. So for foundation, I'm going to use the Beiges. It's the Healthy Glow foundation, the long wear one. This looks so beautiful on my skin, and especially more in the winter months when it's cooler. Because I have oily skin, this is more of a glow foundation, but I actually wore this the other day, and after powdering it, it actually lasted pretty well. But if you've got oily skin, you weren't sure about this foundation, it's definitely worth picking up. I think it has a beautiful finish, and like I was saying, even if you just use it for the cooler months, for autumn, winter and spring, it's definitely worth the purchase. I think it is a gorgeous foundation. So today I'm going to put it on just using a beauty blender. Just get that little bit of hair out of the way with this warmer weather. And while I'm here with the lights going, I definitely like having my hair up because it just helps keep the back of my neck just that little bit cooler. And once I have the lights going, things tend to warm up quite a bit. So let's get on to this newest member of our family. So you would have seen from that little clip, he's asleep now at the moment in the kitchen area. And yes, it is a Newfoundland puppy. And I wasn't looking for another one. I'd thought that I probably would never get another Newfoundland dog after Solomon. He died earlier this year in February, and it really did break my heart. So it was about a week ago, no, but more than that, a couple of weeks ago now, I received a message from someone in the dog showing world on Messenger. And she said, Maria, is there any or is there a remote chance that you would be interested in getting another Newfoundland? And I messaged her back and said, I'm not sure. I said, losing Solomon really did break my heart. And I said, have you got something to tempt me? And she has this beautiful Newfoundland, and he was imported from Canada, and his name is Rubble. And he sired this litter of the breeder down in the South Island in New Zealand. Now, there's not many Newfoundland breeders in New Zealand. There's probably about 2 or 3 at the most. So I'd thought if I ever was going to get another Newfoundland, it would probably have to be from overseas. You've got to be really careful with the giant breeds, with the dogs, what you choose, because they need to have health checks, both the mother and father, and be able to go back to the grandparents and great-grandparents as well to make sure they're all health checked, because they can come with health issues, the giant breeds. So I didn't get Solomon from this breeder. So this was a different lady, and she has been breeding them for many, many years. Now, she doesn't have a lot of litters. She breeds maybe once every 2 or 3 years. She's very, very selective and very thorough with her bloodlines as well. So I contacted the breeder and said, I hear that you have a litter and there is a boy in there that you think is really special. So she contacted me back and she said, yes, she wanted to give me a call and have a chat with me. And she said, the thing is, she said, is every once in a while you just get a puppy that is really special. She said, and this boy is. And she said, really, he's just too good to go to a pet-only home, as she knew that I had shown Solomon. So she sent me some pictures, I looked at some videos, and I also asked another friend of mine who has St. Bernard dogs. She knows a lot about the giant breeds, sent her the photos and the videos as well, and she thought he was really lovely. So my husband fell in love with him straight away. I think it was about 3 days to really make up my mind to have a Newfoundland dog, or any giant breed, or any dog really, but especially with the giant breeds, they are a big commitment, because even though they're big, you need to take special care of them, especially in the first 18 months. They really are different to other dogs and puppies that you get. And not only that, when he's older, with the showing and also with the grooming and the trimming, it is really a big commitment. They are beautiful dogs, but to have them presented beautifully, they do take a lot of looking after. And it's highly likely that he's going to wake up while I'm doing this video, and I'm going to have to stop it and come back to it later if he does, because he is only 9 weeks old, so he is not toilet trained. And I just have to take him outside and then make sure before I start the video again that he's settled, because he's a puppy and he will get into mischief and chew and things like that. So I just heard a couple of things a minute ago, but I'll just keep listening, and if I think he's moving around a little bit, like I said, I'll just have to go and take him outside just so he can do his toileting outside. So that was the Chanel Sublimage concealer, which is one of my absolute favorites. I just think it is absolutely beautiful. Now for eyeshadow primer, I recently picked up, and this is new to me, this is the NARS one, and I really like it. This is quite hard to get in New Zealand. As soon as it comes in stock, it tends to sell out. So it's obviously very popular and I'm really enjoying it. It goes really well on my oily lids and it keeps the eyeshadow from creasing, which tends to happen when you've got oily lids. It's not a reflection on the eyeshadow that you use at all when you've got oily lids. If you don't have a good eyeshadow primer, then they're going to crease very quickly, especially in the warmer weather. Now for my eyebrows, I'll do them off camera, but I'm going to use the Victoria Beckham, the Baby Blade. I got this in taupe. I love this colour. This is the second one that I've purchased. And for the eyebrow gel, I'll just use my usual Anastasia one. But everything that I'm putting on my face today, I will have listed and linked below. So I just had to pop outside for his toileting, but also there was a bird inside as well. So I had to deal with that. Margot was very interested in the bird, so it's all go here. But at the moment, he's just back inside, and we also have some baby gates around the house as well, so he can't come into the beauty room or go down the hallway. He's really just restricted to the kitchen, living and dining area, and then out the back he can sort of come and go as he pleases. But anyway, let's get on with putting on some makeup. So I have put a little bit of powder on, and now I have absolutely finished. It is the Chanel The Natural Finish Loose Powder. There is nothing in this, so I'm going to have to send a text message to my SA this morning and order some, because it is one of my favorite powders, and I probably should have bought a backup over a month ago, but never mind. I do have other powders, but that's just one of my favorite, especially in the warmer months. Now for the bronzer, I'm going to use the Beiges, the Healthy Glow Sheer Powder, and I have this in B40. I might actually even get it in a deeper shade as well. It has a little lid on the top, and there's a little brush as well. You can also get refills for this. So this is the shade B40, which gives a very subtle, it really gives a sun-kissed look, but I wouldn't mind getting a deeper shade so I can really use that as a bronzer as well. But for today, I'm just going to use it just to give this very, very light glow just over the face. It is a beautiful powder, but because it's summertime here and my skin is a bit more oilier than normal, I had to use the other powder first before popping on this, as this does have that little bit of a glow to it, and I want to keep my skin not looking like a flat matte, but just so it's got a little bit of a glow and doesn't start to look oily in any way. So you can see that the shade is very light. You can build it up. I'm also using a brush that tends to put on powder more sheer as well. So just put it on a little bit at a time and putting it where I would normally put bronzer. This is such the perfect sun-kissed shade for me that I really could put it all over my face if I wanted to. That's why I just want to get a deeper colour so that I can use the deeper shade and get that real bronze look as well. But this is a really, really beautiful powder. And for the eyeshadow today, I'm going to use Beiges Healthy Glow eyeshadow palette, and this is in the one. This is light, so I'll probably use these 3 shades today, and I think I will start off with this shade here, and I think I might use, I'll just take out my Chanel eyeshadow brushes. I used this the other day, this palette, and just thought it looked just really, really pretty. And I used my rephr brushes to put it on then, but today I'll use the Chanel brushes. I'll just tip out those 2 little applicators that come with it. So I'm going to start off with this shade here, and I'm going to put that shade all over the lid, through the crease, and slightly above as well. So getting back to our puppy, in the end I decided yes, and I knew I was going to be in for a busy time. having a puppy, and also later on, especially if I get back into showing again. So I had to think of a name for him, and I have already put him on Instagram and shown him there. So in the end, I decided on the name Reuben. And I chose Reuben because it's quite a strong name, but it's soft at the same time, and that is very much like a Newfoundland. Now, Reuben's, the kennel that he comes from, the kennel name is called Gentle Bear, and then you have to have a registered name as well, and she uses names of roses. So I had a look through the different names of the roses, and in the end I chose the name of a rose. It's called Sent by an Angel. So Reuben's kennel name is, it's Gentle Bear Sent by an Angel, and that's his New Zealand Kennel Club registered name, and I just think it is really appropriate, and I love the name Reuben for him. It really suits him. So I've had him, it will be a week today. He was put on a plane and he flew up from the South Island, and I picked him up at the Hamilton airport. It would have been about 5:30, 5:45 at night, and brought him home that evening. Now, the first night he sort of whinged for about 20 or 30 minutes, but then he slept for the rest of the night. Of course, he has to be toileted once or twice during the night as well. But apart from that, there's no whinging at all. And since that first night, maybe the second night, it might have been for a couple of minutes. And then since then, absolutely no whinging at all. So he's quite high maintenance at the moment because he also gets fed 4 times a day. He is on a raw diet, and that has different vegetables and fruits and the raw beef and chicken necks. And they quite sound revolting really, but really good for him. So that's what he's eating at the moment. So I have to prepare that as well. So there is quite a bit of organising with him. But now that I've had him a week, I've sort of got that all down pat. His toileting is going really well, and we've also taken him out quite a bit because it's really important that, well, any puppy, but especially these giant breeds, they get big very quick, and they also have to be socialised very quickly as well. Now, I'm just going to put some of the shade just on my lower lash line as well. So I'm going to take this on G, the pencil one, to do this, and just same with that same shade. And I'm just going to pop some under the lower lash line as well. So I'm just taking that brush again, and I just want to really just blend all that out. Next, I'm going to go to the darker shade in here, and I'm going to put that on the outer corner. So I'm just going to flip the brush around, go into this darker shade, and just pop some of that on the outer corner. So with the giant breeds, with dogs, you've got to take quite a bit of care with them. So there can't be any rough play with them. They can't go up and down stairs. This is about for the first 18 months, 2 years of their life. You can't concrete walk them. What I mean was, if you're in town and you've got concrete footpaths, you wouldn't go for a walk with them along there. You would go on grass. Now, the reason for this is that they grow very, very quickly, and all their ligaments and the muscles, they all have to catch up with that body size, and that takes a good 18 months to 2 years. The other thing is I've got a ute, which you guys in the US call trucks. So I also, for the Solomon, I used a ramp for him to get in and out of there. Don't let them jump up and jump down. So there isn't any jumping up either. So if he goes to, because he's young and he doesn't know, if he goes to jump up at me because he wants my attention, even outside or inside, all I do is I just walk away, and he doesn't get any attention from me with them jumping up. And not only is that really good for his bones and his ligaments and to keep him really healthy and sound. But it also teaches him really good manners as well. And all dogs should have good manners, but especially those that are going to end up really big. You just have to have them so, you know, that they have good manners. They know not to jump up. I did it with Solomon. Solomon wasn't really much of a jumper anyway, and this one doesn't seem to be either. But he is a real sweetheart, and like I said, he's sleeping well through the night. He really is a delight. I'm getting him up on the grooming table already, only for a minute or two at a time. Get him up on there, just give him a quick brush and put him back down again. You've got to trim under their feet with Newfoundlands. I've already done that with him, and he was really good with that. And just things like every day, you don't need to trim their nails every day, but you've got to get used to the nail clipper being near them and all that sort of thing. And he's going really well with all of that. So he really is a good little boy. The other thing is, you're probably wondering what Margot thinks of him. Well, to begin with, I think Margot was clutching her pearls a little bit. She wasn't quite sure what to make of him. Now, because he isn't allowed down the rest of the house, and it's gated off, that sort of gives Margot her own area as well. She comes out to where he is, and they sort of just size each other up. But she's certainly not afraid of him in any way. I think he thinks Margot is just fabulous. So I think they're going to end up really, really good friends. It's a bit hard with puppies. They sort of want to jump and play, and he might have a little bit of a yap at her, and she's not quite sure what to think of that. But overall, she is absolutely fine. And like I said, she does have her own areas in the house until they sort of learn to sort each other out. But I'm sure that they're going to just get on, just be the best of friends once he is a little bit older. Because with Solomon, he was really good with the other two cats that I used to have, and really he used to just go up and snuggle them. They really do have a gorgeous personality, Newfoundlands. So I just put some of that lighter pink through here, and for this darker shade I'm just going to add a little bit more just on the lower lash line, just on the outer corner through here, and pop some on the other side as well. And then I didn't the other day, but today I think I might use that lighter shade just in the very inner corner. But first I'm just taking the clean fluffy brush and just really blend out this shadow just so there's no harsh lines. And then I've just taken the applicator that comes with these eyeshadows and into the lighter shade here and just pop some in the very inner corner, just to give just a little bit of extra lightness through there. And for blush, I'm going to use the Beiges, the Water Fresh blush. These are some of my favourites. I have 4 shades in this, and this one I've actually used quite a bit of. This is in the one light pink. I'll just do one pump on the back of my hand, and then you just need to break up those pigments. And I either put this on using my fingers, the Beauty Blender, or the Sonia G, the sheer buffer. So I think I'll put it on using the Sonia G today. That bird outside, I don't know if you can hear it. It's got a lot to say for itself. They're quite noisy today. I love how this feels when you put it on. Just really, really cooling. And this is a really beautiful shade. So I think the other ones I've got are light peach, coral, and also the warm pink as well. And the other day with this eyeshadow, I wore the one in warm pink. But I think it also looks really beautiful with the light pink as well. And it is just a sheer wash of colour, but I think it looks just super pretty. And for lipstick, I'm going to use the Chanel Holiday. This is the L'Extrait, and this is in the one in Beige Brut. When I reviewed the Chanel Holiday a little while ago, I don't think I had this then, and I mentioned that I wanted to pick it up, and I did, and I really loved the shade. It is beige, but it has just a little bit of pink in it as well. It is really beautiful, and I do love the formula of the L'Extrait. I think it's really gorgeous. I do just need to powder again because this is quite a glowy foundation, and I just didn't really have enough of this one, the Natural Finish loose powder, which was a bit of a shame. So I'm just thinking which powder I'm going to pop over the top. And the other day in my drawer, I'd forgotten about the Charlotte Tilbury, the Airbrush Flawless Finish. And this is pretty good at mattifying as well. Not a flat matte, but it is quite a good formula with oily skin. So I think I'm going to pop some of this on as well, just to stop my skin getting too oily. So I'm just going to take the Mer Powder Brush and just powder over the top. And as I often mention, it may look a little bit matte to begin with and think, oh, you've taken away that really lovely glow. But with oily skin, that glow does come back. Usually takes about, well, it's quite warm today, so it might only take about 10 or 15 minutes. But the hope is, with a good powder, is that you get that glow back, but then it doesn't go beyond that into looking oily and just too greasy. So I'm going to leave my hair up because it's too warm to put down, but the overall look is really beautiful. Chanel Le Beiges is such a gorgeous collection, and that new one that is coming up, I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's got the eyeshadow palette and those blushes and the cocoa balms. I'm not too sure about those primers though. They are glowy primers. If I was going to get one, it would really just to review for you guys and see how it goes with my oily skin. I'm just not too sure. It'd probably be more suited for my skin in the winter months. But I may pick up one, like I said, to review it, and just so you know how it works with oily skin, especially in the warmer months. So Ruben is still asleep out there, but in about, what's the time? In about another hour, he will be having his lunch. So I'm going to do a few more bits and pieces of housework and things like that. And then I'll have to get his lunch ready and probably go out with him somewhere. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.